Tom Hanks. There's a reason Tom Hanks has been one of the most beloved figures in Hollywood for over 4 decades. And it's not just the 2 Academy Awards. It's the fact that the man cannot help himself. Put him in front of a camera, sit him down on a talk show couch, or catch him in an elevator, and something magical happens. Stories pour out of him. Voices emerge from nowhere. Characters appear out of thin air. Tom Hanks doesn't just tell you about his life. He performs it for you, whether you asked for it or not. What makes him so fascinating to watch isn't just the talent, though that's undeniable. It's the sheer joy he brings to everything. You can feel it whenever he speaks. This is a man who genuinely loves what he does, loves the people he's worked with, and loves finding the absurdity hiding inside every ordinary moment. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into some of the most entertaining, candid, and hilarious stories Tom Hanks has shared over the years, through impressions, anecdotes, and moments that remind you why the world simply adores this guy. Let's start with something that anyone who has ever worked on a massive film production will immediately understand. When you're making a movie, the amount of material actors are expected to memorize on any given day can be genuinely staggering. Tom has talked about arriving on set for one of his projects and realizing very quickly that the sheer volume of dialogue he was supposed to have locked in his brain was, to put it kindly, unrealistic. He looked at the script, saw page after page of lines stacked up just for the morning shoot, and did the math. There was no version of reality in which he was going to be word perfect on all of it by lunchtime. So he went to the director, Bob, and laid it out plainly. He said something along the lines of, "There is absolutely no way my poor, overworked brain is going to absorb all of this dialogue. We're talking page after page after page, and that's just the stuff we're shooting before we break for lunch. If you're counting on me to nail every single word, I have some bad news for you." And Bob, to his enormous credit, didn't panic. He smiled and said something reassuring. "Don't worry about it, Tom. We'll put the lines on cards. Like it's a classic sitcom. We'll slide the cameras around so they're never in the shot. Problem solved." Tom retells this moment with the kind of affectionate disbelief that tells you he genuinely loved working with Bob, and that the whole exchange is one of those little behind-the-scenes gems that never makes it into the press junket interviews, but perfectly captures what filmmaking is actually like day to day. Now, fame is a strange and complicated thing. Tom Hanks has been one of the most recognizable faces on the planet for most of his adult life, and by all accounts, he's handled it with more grace than almost anyone in his position. But even he acknowledges that it comes with its quirks. He's talked about what it's like to be spotted in public, at a sporting event, say, or out at some industry function, and the specific, predictable rhythm that always seems to follow. The way he describes it, you get recognized, the crowd around you reacts warmly, there's a nice wave of goodwill, and maybe some applause, and for a few moments, everything feels genuinely lovely. People are kind. The world seems like a friendly place. But then, and Tom does this with perfect comedic timing, the moment starts to die down, the energy settles, and somewhere in the back of the room, up in the cheap seats, there is always someone, always. One person who looks at the whole spectacle unfolding and responds not with warmth or enthusiasm, but with an expression and a gesture that communicates, clearly and without ambiguity, "I don't care who you are, and I think you're a jerk." Tom laughs when he tells this story, but there's a real insight in it. It doesn't matter how beloved you are. There is no level of fame or goodwill that makes you universally liked. Someone somewhere will always be unimpressed. And yet Tom doesn't seem particularly bothered by it. That might be the most remarkable thing about him. He's got the kind of groundedness that's genuinely rare in someone who has spent decades at the absolute top of his industry.